Hello, I'm Steve Lentini, and I'm your host for the podcast Different Thinking for Different Times. And today, I've really got some great news and a lot of different thinking for you, in particular for people who are challenged by believing there's a transactional God, that you have to do something in order to earn God's love. It's funny when I ask people, are you transactional parent? You only love your children some of the time and only based on the way they behave, certain things, so then you stop loving them when they fall, make mistakes. And how long does that go for? Let's suppose that you're now in your 70s or 80s or 90s and you still have children that come to see you and now they're in their 50s or 60s or 40s. Is your love conditional? It's not what I experienced during my near-death experience. It was way beyond my comprehension, and that was November 18th, 2002. So today I want to announce my new book, You Missed God on the Way to the Mosque, the Temple, or the Church, How to See God Everywhere. And I'm hoping to stimulate a conversation about religion is wonderful. I'm not going to make it wrong. I mean, there's community, people go to churches. Many religious organizations do great work throughout the world. They're doing good. And that was the only thing mentioned in my life review, all the lives I had touched, all the good I had done. The subtitle of the book is How to See God Everywhere, that in my experience, 1 second with two friends at the end of my bed in intensive care after 5 days, the next second I was one with everything and nothing. One with the infinite, immense light and mercy and grace. And then the next second, by the way, it seemed like a second, it was a scene and a scene and a scene. No past or future. I couldn't even put the events together until later. Spoiler alert, I survived. When I was back in intensive care, I could then string the events together in my mind. But the first thing that I realized after I got back in my body is God is in the now. God is never absent. I call it the now on steroids. There was only the now. And so the first now was the immense light and mercy and grace and unconditional love. And these words do not do it justice, by the way. It was mind-blowing, way beyond my comprehension. The second scene was a life review, my life review. And only the good I had done was mentioned. I could sense the presence of those who had passed before, family and friends. But even people I bought sandwiches for or helped move or helped in any way, helped on the job, smiled at, even people I smiled at, and I am embarrassed to say I was 50, I had no idea how many lives I had touched. The next scene was a question, stay or go? And my consciousness responded with, thy will be done. It didn't matter, stay there, come back here. And every day I wake up here, I know I got work to do, right? This is the physical world. And every night I say, thy will be done. Doesn't matter. Here or go there again. And I consider it to be home. And it's fascinating, the longer I ponder it, the gifts that come. And one of the things that I noted, by the way, I was grateful waiting for the ambulance. So 1 second I was doing a seminar, the next second I felt like I had been knifed or shot in the abdomen on the left side. And while waiting for the ambulance, because I immediately asked my staff to call an ambulance, they went into a frantic panic mode. Oh my God, Steve, how you doing? How you doing? The ambulance is coming. We called them. I said, listen, I don't know how I'm doing. I don't know how my body's doing. I'm grateful. And they were stunned. I was totally at peace waiting for the ambulance. As I looked back on it afterwards, I felt a divine presence. that where we miss the connection with God is in this ego mind, this acorn brain, as I call it. And we tend to believe our thinking. And that's where we get such narrow-minded, small-minded thinking that God is only favoring one faith or another, one religion or another, one maybe race or another. People get crazy thoughts. There were no sexes, no religions, no male, no female. The creative life force was infinite in everything and nothing. That was fascinating because it's what physicists talk about, the universe being everything and nothing, that there's vast expanses of space where there's nothing but energy, whether it be black holes or birthing of a planet or a star. We live in something that we don't understand. It's way beyond our comprehension, even physicists. The more they discover new things, the more fascinated and confounded they are. One of the telescopes discovered an object spinning at 750 something times a second, faster than a kitchen blender. They have no idea. And I don't make physicists wrong. It's fascinating. As humans, we want to understand, where did we come from? Why? How does this exist? What created the universe? What are the laws for living in a universe? Einstein, when he was asked, what is your idea of God, answered it two ways. Probably when he had more time, he would answer, the superior reasoning power that created this unimaginable universe forms my idea of God. The other way he would answer it was very short. Go read The God of Spinoza, Baruch Spinoza. He lived in the 1600s, and when you read that, it'll challenge a lot of your beliefs. Or maybe you agree with what I'm thinking or what I experienced. See, I'm basing this on my experience. It's not just my acorn brain trying to make everyone else wrong. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything other than God is in the now. You don't have to search. God is everywhere, even and especially in the events and people that bother us, that bug us. They're our teachers. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. Chaos and conflict is how we learn in the physical realm. And things were divided into races and sexes and all kinds of creatures too, so that we could learn to appreciate the wonder of living on a ball that's floating in the midst of nothing, right? We're living on a ball. Here I have a little marble to remind me this has got the earth painted on it. And I keep it here to remind me that we're floating on this right now. And everything required for life is here. And mostly we think, and this is what I'm urging people to challenge, any small-minded thinking didn't come from the creator of a universe. It's there for us to overcome it, to recognize it. And yet we see, especially in this society today, people really firmly believing their thinking and railing against others and even willing to commit violence against others they disagree with. Wow. How small-minded is that? Here's what I wrote on the back cover of the book. In the fast-paced world we live in, we often forget the most profound truth. We are never truly alone. In every moment, whether joyous or painful, quiet or chaotic, the infinite presence of the universe, God or the now, is always with us. This connection is not something we must earn or seek outside ourselves. It is inherent, unbreakable, and ever present. That was my experience For the time that I was home, I call it home now. And I suggest we shouldn't call death death, we should call it what's next. On the way to our ritual visits, and I'm continuing to read from my back cover, on the way to our ritual visits to the buildings we built to honor God, we often miss that God is always with us. We focused more on earning God's favor, practicing daily rituals, and avoiding sin, as opposed to living fully in the gift God has given us. What if sin is a myth perpetuated by those who manage the very houses we believe are holy? In this book, I share what I learned about life and what we live in after nearly dying and glimpsing what awaits us after death. What if the good we do is what God records in the book of time and not sin? Here's what awaits us according to me and my experience. The author's experience, it says, but that's me. What if the good we do, somebody's calling me already. What if the good we do is what God records in the book of time and not sin? Here's what awaits us. There's no death, only an infinite next and grace and mercy beyond all human understanding, or at least my own understanding. I just want you to ponder it, that God is not a transactional God, that humans created all these things we have to do to earn God's favor. And let me just ask you this question too. Did you learn to walk without falling? And if you can't remember, how about children you raised? Did any of them learn to walk without falling? That's the metaphor for life. We're here to fall. That's how we learn and grow. We fall, we get up. Hopefully we learn something and we avoid the next fall. Right? There's a joke about a guy who walks down the street and falls in a hole and cries for help, and somebody eventually helps him out. And the next day he walks down the street, falls in the same hole, has to yell for somebody to get him out. The following day he does the same. And eventually people hand him a ladder and they help him out of the hole. And the following day he went another way. He avoided falling in the same hole. That's life. That's life. I just want you to get to the place, if you want, to consider how small-minded your thinking is. And ask yourself, does that sound like what created an infinite universe that we don't understand? I experienced thinking way beyond my own thinking. I had no idea that the good we do, the good that I did, would be mentioned only in my life review. I can't say I was sin-free. Perhaps what we experience next is what we believe down deeply. Maybe it's our firmly held beliefs manifest, as it's suggested they do here, by the way, that we're always seeing what we believe, that we're not supposed to believe what we see. We're supposed to question, hey, what are my beliefs? What created this? What can I do differently? What can I learn from this? How can I grow? That's the purpose of life, and that no matter what happens, it's all a gift because God is not absent. Read the God of Spinoza. In it, he says, there's a statement that says, do you think I would burn any of my children forever? Would you do that? Would you choose one of your children to burn forever because they did something wrong in your view? If you wouldn't, okay, well then you have love that's similar to God's. It's unconditional. If you believe you have unconditional love, but God would burn some of his children forever and condemn them to the flames and fire of hell, then that means humans, or you, have greater love than God does, than what created a universe. I want you to ponder that. Think about it. Come to your own conclusion. I don't want to change your mind about anything. But we can see religions, for example, that want to kill everybody that doesn't agree with them. Some countries consider people who protest heretics, and they're allowed to kill them because they go to heaven for killing them. That's fine because that's an experience. Hopefully they'll learn from it. How's it working out? I don't know. That's for each person's journey. For each person. My journey's none of your business, and your journeys are none of mine. And when we come to appreciate them and know and trust there's a superior reasoning power that created this unimaginable universe, we won't worry about petty things. The people that live in systems like that will come to make a choice someday, and perhaps they'll renounce that leadership and do something different in their own society, in their own countries. It's for each person to expand their own small-minded thinking. I work with business leaders and individuals on their small-minded thinking, and they get to see, by making new choices, they create new paths for themselves in life. They actually get to see their power, which is what most people are afraid of. They prefer the victim story, the woe is me story. Look what's happening to me in life. Look what this group did to me. Look what that group did to me. Look what this person did to me. Look what that person did to me. Look what the boss did to me. No, it's happening for you. But you give up your power when you tell the victim story. Fascinating, though. The same power, if your life is currently a mess, you can flip that and use the same power in a different way to create the life you desire, the dreams of your life. And if you have a desire and a dream, it's because it's your job to advance God's work here on earth by doing your purpose. It might be working as a social worker. It might be writing books. It might be being an actor or an actress. It might be working in manufacturing to build things that advance society. But to look at it all as a gift and not complain about your work. And gratitude, right? I was grateful waiting for the ambulance. When the EMTs arrived, they asked me the same question. Mr. Lentini, how you doing? And I said, I don't know how my body's doing. And I'm grateful. I think they expected me to be screaming, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. I was never worried about what's next. It's as if I knew there was an infinite next. And I could tell by the look on their faces, we're like, grateful. This guy not only needs an ER doctor, he needs a shrink. And I know I've said that before, but it bears repeating. Certainly worth repeating. I've done this podcast for 7 years. I have a lot of guests that have been on that also challenge small-minded thinking. But the main theme of this work that I'm doing is to get you to question your own thinking and to see that God is everywhere. There's no place that God is absent in an infinite universe. The whole thing would come falling apart. It would tear itself apart. There's no place God is absent. Look at here. I'll show you that here's a creation of God. His name spelled backwards is God. He's dog. His name is Albie, but he's a dog. And dogs are only in the now. Is that a clue? I don't know. It's up to you to decide that. And if you want, my book, by the way, is on Amazon. Just Google books by Steve Lentini. Here's my name, Steve Lentini. You want to email me, steve@stevelentini.com. All my books are at stevelentiniauthor.com. Look, Albie agrees. Albie wants you to buy a book. All right, so think about that. And when you have a small-minded thought, just ask yourself, is that what a creator would do? That's why Albie's barking. A creator of a universe, the creator, God, is not small-minded. We are. And we're supposed to learn from that, at least in my experience, because only the good I had done flashed before me in my life review. Maybe that's what we're supposed to do. I got the camera crooked. It's all right. You're enjoying the experience as I experience it. God is in the now. I don't have to be perfect. I don't care if you like my books. What I care about is, because some people have emailed me over the years and said, Steve, thank you for writing this. That's my goal. I don't want to be a New York Times bestseller. If it happened, it happened. That's God. It's meant to be. I enjoy being in the moment and reminding myself all throughout every day by taking gratitude breaks that this is where God resides. I don't have to search. And it's been fascinating because it's been 8,514 days since November 18th. I'm grateful. I've been granted all those extra days. I don't take any one of them for granted since that day. Be in the now. Help others. Do good. How do you feel when you do good? Think about that. And learn from your mistakes, and don't make yourself wrong for them. God didn't stop loving you. God didn't stop loving you. All right. Any questions? I gave you how to email me, steve@stevelentini.com. And go get the book if you're curious. It's not a big read. It's 79 pages. You missed God on the way to, this is a proof copy, by the way. I haven't gotten the full versions yet. They're on the way. You missed God on the way to the mosque, the temple, or the church. And the subtitle down there is How to See God Everywhere. Enjoy. Enjoy life. Enjoy living. Don't be afraid of dying. Fear is false. It's a lie. Enjoy this existence, this miracle that we've been given. And mostly we don't as humans. At least I didn't until I was 50. Until that day. Now I live it fully, and I'm grateful for every moment. I'm grateful for all those who watch this and that this reaches. Thank you.